Hi, I'm Cyaneink and today I have travel quill. This is from Raphael and this is their Voyager and SoftAqua, so it's synthetic hair, really soft and comes in travel format. So you take the cap off and you can use the cap as the handle. There's not that much of the step down here. You can feel it, but it's not sharp pointing. Because I tend to hold my brushes right here, so it hasn't bothering me at all. It's matte black paint. There's Raphael, and there's no anything on the outside of the handle. The coil area, hair is very soft. This is currently wet, but hair is very soft. But since it's synthetic and tapering, it comes to a okay point. The ferrule here really nicely made. It's really tightly wrapped. It is plastic. You can see that there's the threads binding the hair together. There is glue line, and there is all the wires. They are still tight. They are stacked together. It has been over 1 year in my use, heavy use, and they have not moved. It's tight. It's really tight here. And so for the stroke test, let's start with the dot. Sadly you cannot see much because I'm holding my brush perpendicular to the paper. But it shows that there's like a really good point, but after the few dots it gets a little bit flatter. It's quite normal and it's quite soft brush, so it's got expecting that. Next we're looking at thin lines. It can do them, but they are definitely not easy to do with this brush. It's because it's really soft, and even slightly amounts of pressure will make a line go wider. So even if you can hold the point, it's not like very good point. So it's a bit of struggle, and wiggle lines. It shows more of the when you turn the brush, it's a little bit drags behind. Especially I want to note this area here where the brush is like so far behind that it's like flaps out of the kind of like shape. It makes those kind of almost like flat edges there. So this is a really soft brush, but it is nice, quite nice point, I would say. But it's not so snappy because it's imitating squirrel, and squirrel is soft natural hair, so I'm not like faulting on that, but it makes it a bit tricky to control. Circles. I'm just going to stop that because I'm like so focusing to make it thin. But it can do the rounds. It's a bit thicker on the areas where it's like rotating, but good. Then we are doing the leaves, and here I want to do like thin lines, and then I'm applying a bit more pressure on every stroke. And here you can see that even slightly amounts of pressure will make wider marks, and depending on the subject you are painting, that might be a good thing, because then you have easier time to get like some of the wider areas. Now I'm wanting to do like more like blobs. I want to have them more rounded, almost like touching the almost like attacking the paper. And yeah, it's because here I want to go fast, and if the brush is like collecting itself back up, and it can make really expressive marks here. I would actually think that this would make really nice foliage textures. Then for the bigger leaves, I'm reloading the brush now. With the bigger leaves, it's quite small brush, so I'm not surprised that it's a bit struggling. There's some white spots, and paper is same as the other testes, so it's running a bit too dry. Reloading. So it's cold press. Here, because I had damp brush, I feel I cannot get it that wide, because when it's damp, it's kind of like clumps the hairs together. But if I have more wet brush, like now I just dip it in the water, it can expand more easily. But here I see that the amount of the water in this brush affects how it behaves. That's true with every brush. So here, if it's getting damp, it is more prone to clump the hairs together and just not going so wide. So especially if you're doing like one stroke leaves, that maybe is wetter. 70-90 degrees angles, which show some of the tracking, which is not so bad in this brush. I was expecting it to be a bit worse, but it's not so bad. Works okay, even because with some brushes, when you are change direction fast, it can be like making really white on the other surface because the tip is not coming back. Then the pearls, which I do a little bit twisting, and what I want to see smooth lines and no like mark of the brush head, like hairs separating. I don't want to see those. There's a little bit, but it's running drier, but they are all smooth. Reloading it again. This time it's a bit drier because I can see that there's white marks there. This was not so good. It's get too dry, and when it's get too dry, you got these marks here. So this brush holding capacity is not that much, even if it's really soft, but it releases it quite quickly. The water is like here you can see there's like pool of water still. Now it's going straight up. And it's collect itself really nicely. There's a little bit of white showing, but really nicely collecting. So for the stroke test, I would say this is a really soft brush, and that makes it harder to control, and also it releases water quite quickly, so it dries up. It holds good capacity, but it also releases it. And now for the painting sample, I did full spread of the flowers, and I tried a little bit like using different methods. Here I went really traditional watercolor and just did few layers, and I had no problem doing this really sharp points. It held water and color really well, released it evenly, and also it was really predictable like how the brush head works. And in here I had more water, and I let the water do its thing, but at the same time sharp points, and worked out really nicely. Here I did more of the, like I had a sketch and then colored the sketch in, and no problems there either. Here I tried a little bit of the details because I did this iris and I wanted to do the veining, and it worked okay. It doesn't come like super sharp point, but it's okay. It's enough for for me. But if you want to do really tiny details, maybe something else, because the tip is not super sharp, so something like inking this would not be suitable. Also, it's watercolor brush, but here it's almost like the finest line it could make. And here on the other side, I tried larger areas, and I wanted to do wet on wet blending, and there's no problem. Brush hold a lot of water, so I had like no rush and it could fill these larger areas even if it's a smaller brush. So this size is, if I would do like landscape here, it would be pushing this brush really out of its intended use, because it is smaller. It's quite small, and I think this is the like limit of the size it can do comfortably. And also because it's travel brush, I feel rarely people work in travel larger size than this one. I also like it, the brush handle. It doesn't feel any kind of like fatigue or hard to hold. I can even hold it here because this is not sharp, and the step down is really small, so it's really well done. And here different type of work I did with this brush, and it is 2 bunnies from the Lanago's art tutorial. I will link the tutorial. And it's here it was a little bit struggling because there's quite large areas I needed to fill, and you can see some of the, especially this area here, you can see that the brush was struggling to fill the whole area, and there are some drying lines I didn't want there, but they just appeared. But all the little details worked really nicely, and like the evenness, like these, I remember I did just like 2 strokes. Yeah, it can work on the full, like the A5 sketchbooks in the full page illustrations, but it's definitely takes some skill and pre-planning if you want to do bigger areas like these, because you really easily get something like this one, unevenness on the background. If you want to like do really even blue sky, it will be a bit hard to do with this brush. But for the details, I think it shines better, and it is the like work this brush is intended to do. Especially I love these little marks I made, because the brush tip is so sharp I can get to do those really nice lines and really nice tapering on the lines. And I think it's really good travel brush. I like that it's really balanced brush. It can work in the details, not super small details, but it still can work those details, and at the same time it can work on bigger scale and on the bigger format, and it can be like, it's really the workhorse. I would like to them having a little bit bigger size, because I feel this is really tiny for even for travel quill, and I know some people like to work larger, and if the tip would be sharp, the larger quill would not be an issue. And there's no sizing info, but this is Raphael quill in size 0. This is their short handle series, like really short. So I would think this is size 1 or 2. And with these I noticed something. At first I was going to post a review, but then I wanted to add and a little bit that changes my opinion about these ones, because don't mind, this one is a bit bent because it has been had some accident. But with these, because I had these have the same hair, they are from the same lineup, but they are different size. And I noticed something interesting. The 0 one is more floppy. It's like a bit annoying to paint because it goes really soft and quite far from the stroke. For the comparison, now both brushes are wet, and I'm just going to pull it down, and you can see that this one has the tendency that the brushes, because how tip is made, there are shorter hairs and longer hairs. The shorter hairs get away from the tip, and when those go away from the tip, there's actually so little hair here, the long hair that are touching the paper, that like it compromises the brush head rigidity. It's like goes really soft, and that can be felt as mushy when you are painting it. It suddenly goes more mushier than you are like expecting it to work. With this one, there's not that much of the problem. because there's more hair in the tip and there's more of these longer hairs that are holding it together, so it feels snappy and it feels nice to paint, and there's like no surprising mushiness. And I think that is especially pronounced with these soft type of hairs and soft synthetic hairs. So something to keep in mind. It doesn't affect the brush I'm reviewing, but since it's same hair type, I wanted to bring that up because if they ever release the smaller size or anything like that, or you are getting the this short handle one, which is the basically same brush but smaller size, because this is the size is affecting the size 0, it's way too soft. Also, now I'm looking, it has bit weird proportions because it has quite long tip. And what are my final opinions about this brush? There's some I like it. It has one of the travel quills I use the most. I have few, but this one is the most used one. It's also the oldest one. And I like, even if it's soft and small, it works really well on the A5 size and smaller. A6 size is the sweet spot for this brush, and A5, anything bigger than A5 will be stretching this bit too much because it's quite small. Even if it holds a lot of water and it's really soft, with the larger areas it can be a bit like when you want to do one even area, it may come out as streaky because the brush is too small. I would like to see some kind of information on this barrel, because there isn't any. Like, if you are having a lot of these travel brushes in one pile, it might be hard to find the proper, like the one you are looking for. This one is rose gold, but I'm sure some of the other makers will make the rose gold as well. Very solid, and all the construction is really solid. But as I mentioned before, the hair is soft, and if you're getting any size smaller than this one, there might be the issue that the tip is going too soft to be painted, and it can feel as mushy and floppy, and it was a nice thing to notice. So definitely brush for, if you want to travel quill, this is one of the few options there is available. But at the same time, I recommend thinking, do you really need the travel brush and travel quill? Because there's one annoying thing, and it's the capping. I always cap this wet because it's really hard to, you can see the diameter of this barrel, and I need to push this brush there. There's not that much of the wiggle room here, so I have to be really careful when I cap it not to bend any bristles. But it's solid if you travel a lot and like the quills. Good. Also, since it's softer, it is a bit more, it reminds quite steady hand, so maybe not so beginner friendly as the Gaklovska, but definitely if you are more experienced at painting, this would be really nice travel quill. So that was all, and leave the comment below the other travel sized quills you know or you have, because I have this one, I have two Tintoretto ones, and I know Da Vinci makes one, but I don't have the Da Vinci one. But if you know other makers that have travel quills, please let me know, because I would love to include those in the reviews as well. So thanks and bye.